بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد صادق الوعد الأمين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Tonight we'll talk about a lady known as ذات النطاقين. This lady had almost 58 ahadith of Muhammad ﷺ's tradition. Bukhari and Muslim had almost 13 hadith narrated from this lady. Many of her own children and grandchildren narrated from her. This lady is Asma Bint Abi Bakr as-Siddiq. She is Asma, the daughter of Bakr radiallahu anhu. Now, before we start talking about this lady, greatness in Islam does not differentiate between a woman and a man in their actions towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A lot of people would talk, especially of those days, about women in Islam and their role. Well, in a hadith narrated, Asma Bint Yazid al-Ansariya came to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and she said, I am the leader of the delegation of ladies to you. Because men, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them many virtues. One of them is to be in congregation of prayers, and also to lead the prayer, also to visit the sick people, and also to witness the janazah prayer or the dead person's janazah prayer, to go to Hajj as well, the Umrah, to fight for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's sake. And then Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, go, O lady, go and tell your own fellow Muslim ladies that you have to know that if a lady, this is very important, if a lady does good to her own husband and tries to satisfy her husband, in other words, not to make the house a hell house, a very, very pleasant house, and if she obeys him, of course, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's, in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's permission, doing that equals what you mentioned before. She doesn't need to go and fight to do for that. She doesn't need to go and to do Hajj if she's not able to do that. She doesn't need to even come to the mosque and pray. She doesn't need to go and follow the janazah. All of these things are done in a very simple way. Be a very good wife. A lot of Muslims would talk about women, freedom in Islam, about women, etc., etc. Wallahi, if our mothers are good mothers, good wives, will be good. If our wives are good wives, the children will be good, the society will be good. That's the whole thing. Unfortunately, we just try to emphasize about many different things about women. As a matter of fact, we just want to be with the flow. They talk about women's right, we talk about women's right in Islam. They talk about the freedom of choice, we talk about the freedom of choice in Islam for ladies to choose their husbands. They talk about freedoms of ladies wearing whatever they want to. We talk about that as well. Why are we doing that? Before Islam, ladies were not even considered, especially in the West, in Europe, were not even considered as human beings. When Islam came, Islam also had a balance. Now, no one could say to me that the physical body of a female is exactly as the physical body of a male. Otherwise, those who claim equality would say, when we have the World Soccer, We have it for both. For males and females. Why do we have separate? Sometimes we are very stupid. They say it's equality. Islam talks about justice. Of course it's equality, but it's justice in a justice way. Now, the issue of women in Islam is very important. And when we talk about this lady, we'll know how much Islam gave this lady radiallahu anha wa ardaha, and how much of the secrets of Islam she kept radiallahu anha wa ardaha, and she preserved at the time of need. And she was also delegated for a very important role in keeping Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam's secrets. Now, this is to show that ladies in Islam are very important. As a matter of fact, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's messenger told us to choose for ourselves good ladies. And the same thing Khadija radiallahu anha chose for herself a good husband, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The story of this lady radiallahu anha wa ardaha, her name is Asma Bint Abi Bakr As-Siddiq. She is well-known lady because of whom? Because she is the daughter of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu wa ardaha. And she is also a very well-known lady because of her husband. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said about him, he's the disciple of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Az-Zubayr. She's also a very well-known lady because of her son, Abdullah ibn Zubayr, the first baby born in Islam. Now, we mention those things, but we have to mention something about her radiallahu anha. Of course, her sister is Aisha radiallahu anha, the mother of the believers. Now, Aisha and Asma are from different mothers. They're not from the same mother. Aisha's mother is Asma Bint Umais. The mother of Asma radiallahu anha wa ardaha, Qatila bint Abdul Uzza. They have different mothers. Now, who is older than the other one? Aisha radiallahu anha or Asma? Well, Asma was born before Aisha. She's older, 10 years older than Aisha radiallahu anha wa ardaha. As a matter of fact, when Islam came, she was almost 14 years old. Now, so this lady, her father, her also grandfather, her son, all of them are believers. And by the way, when we talk about this lady radiallahu anha wa ardaha, of this good lineage, the descendant of Quraysh, of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu wa ardaha, some people would say, well, I am from so and so. No. Your lineage is nothing if you're not a Muslim or not a believer. No one of us could claim that our lineage and our family is greater than Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam's family. No one could say that. And no one could say in matters related to that about Abu Lahab, who is Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam's uncle. But he is destined to hellfire. His relationship with Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam did not help him because he is not a believer. That's why Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said in a hadith, whoever his own actions did not make him reach the level that he is in, his family lineage, his offsprings, his tribe will not give him that. And Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, in a hadith narrated by Bukhari and Muslim, he said one day when he gathered all of his family from Quraysh, he started gathering them. Come to me. And he started calling his family, the tribe of Quraysh, by name. And then he specified, radiallahu anhu wa arda, he said, Ya Abbas, my uncle, I will not do anything to you if you don't become a believer. That's his uncle. You can't do anything to him if he's not a believer. And then he said Safiya, his auntie. very close. He said, I won't do anything to you if you're not a believer. And then he said about his own daughter, Fatima, I can't do anything to you if you're not a believer. The true Islam is not by your offspring, it's by your own belief. That is why Suhaib, Salman, Bilal, we know about them. Not because they are from such and such tribe, but because they are true believers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said in a hadith narrated by Anas bin Malik, narrated by Tirmidhi, he said, maybe a man or a woman who's the dust on their face and no one would be daring to look at them, the way they look, the way they dress themselves. But if this person would say anything and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala anything and vow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will do something, Allah will do it. This is a very, very deep issue amongst Muslims. This is from Pakistan, where they see themselves better than those who are, for example, from such and such country. India. Those who are from the Arabs will say, we are Arabs. From the Middle East, from Egypt, Iran, Iraq, etc., etc. We start to praise ourselves, where do we belong to? And we forget that our belonging is to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Islam. As we mentioned about Salman radiallahu anhu arda, he said, I am Salman, the son of Islam. The same thing about us. If we say we are the sons of such and such, now what do you do is what counts. This lady radiallahu anha wa ardaha embraced Islam when she was 14. Now, her father, of course, was the cause of her Islam, radiallahu anha wa ardaha, and also the cause of her own husband's Islam, by the way, Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu wa ardaha. When she became Muslim, she was counted as number 18 in Islam to become Muslim. Now, a lady and number 18, radiallahu anha wa ardaha. The first one in Islam was Khadija radiallahu anha, before anyone else. Khadija radiallahu anha was the first one to embrace Islam. Now, let's talk about her role and what did she do when Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam decided to move to Medina. Now, the first thing that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he decided to move to Medina, he told Abu Bakr indicatively that, and Abu Bakr wanted to go, radiallahu anhu arda, her father. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, wait, may Allah give you a companion. In other words, I might be your companion. And revelation came that Abu Bakr should be the companion of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in that journey. So Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu waited. At the midday of the 27th of Safar, at the 13th year of the Bi'thah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that means after 13 years of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's prophethood, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam came to Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu at midday, at a time where Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this is not usual that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam comes at that time. When he comes sallallahu alaihi wasallam to Abu Bakr, he asked Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, he said, I want to talk to you, but in a very top secret. Then Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu arda, his wife, his two daughters, Asma and Aisha. Asma by that time almost 27. Aisha by that time almost Asma, sorry, by that time, or it's almost 24, 27, and Aisha radiallahu anha was almost 6, 7. Then Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu said to Muhammad, yes, you can talk. He said, there is no one? He said, no, this is only your family. Now how can you trust 6 years old, 7 years old, and also another lady who's married to someone with a top secret in Islam? What is this secret? Muhammad ﷺ is telling Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu arda that the revelation came to him that they will be leaving today. They will be leaving tonight. Now, Asma was given the secret. Radiallahu anhu arda. And she kept that secret. We'll learn now. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu arda and Muhammad ﷺ, after Maghrib, they left. The father of Abu Bakr, the next morning, came. Abu Quhafa. He wasn't a Muslim at that point of time. And when he came, said to Asma is the eldest. He said to Asma, what your father left for you? Asma radiallahu anha ardaha. She said, he left for us many things. She said, 5,000, 6,000. She said, all of his money, Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu took it with him in the journey. He left nothing for them. He left only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for them. And if you leave something to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah will not make that lost. Now, Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu's daughter, Asma, when she was approached by her grandfather, and he was blind. And then he said, what have your father left for you? She said, plenty of things. And he said, show me. And she said, when he said, show me, she said, I gathered stones, put them in a bag, and made them appear to be gold. And then I said to him, come, this is this pile of money he left for us. He started touching it. And he said, if he left this, that's too much. And she said, of course the father left. Now after that, what happened? She's pregnant, by the way, at that point of time. 7 months pregnant. With Abdullah, the son of Abu Zubayr. Now, at that point of time, Abu Jahl came. He knew the relationship between Abu Bakr and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now when he came, he asked her, where is your father? Because if you know the friend, you will know where is the other friend. Just like it's an association. She said, I don't know. And then Abu Jahl slapped her in the face. Blood came from her mouth. Radiallahu anha wa ardaha. And then she said, we don't know where exactly did they go. We know that they will be going to the cave, but which way they are going to it, how many days will be they staying, they don't know. She was given the task. She is now, those who visited the cave of Thawr, it's in a very steep area. It's a very difficult, a healthy, athletic person, is difficult for them to reach that point. 2 hours or so. She was pregnant, and she would come at night. So it's not, and it's very dark. How do you know it's very dark? It's at the end of the lunar calendar month. It's very dark, and it's a mountain. She will be coming, radiallahu anha wa ardaha, with the food. So she's carrying the baby inside and carrying the food outside. And at night, no one with her. Now, and she was interested by that because Quraysh will not think that a lady who's pregnant would go at night and give Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam the food. It's difficult. Some say it was during the day, just before Fajr time, because during night Abdullah will come. Anyway, even if it's during midday, it is difficult to climb that steepy mountain. Now, she started to, and it was almost 3 miles, the journey to that cave, up and down 3 miles from her place. Very long journey, carrying food for 2 persons. And subhanallah, this is This shows that Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu arda was very successful in the education of his children. I mean, you can't. Aisha radiallahu anha arda, 6-7 years old, was entrusted with a secret. Asma was also entrusted with also a great mission and a secret. That's the education, the sort of education that you get the result of it at the time of need. A lot of people, when they want to educate their kids, when they see someone good, say, I want my kid to be like that. It's not a click. No, you need to work on that. Work on that and work on that and work on that, and then Allah will give you. It can't be just like a click. That's why when Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us, he taught us how to choose the wife, what to say when we marry, and what to say when we sleep with the wife, and what to say to the kid, what to do with the kid in all stages. How do we treat them in an Islamic way in all stages? And then when they reach the time, the age of puberty, your mission is almost complete. Then it's to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You do your duty, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will also give you the duty that you've given to him. When a man came to Umar radiallahu anhu and complained, he said, my son had beaten me. And then Umar radiallahu anhu said to the son, why would you do that? He said, hang on, Amir al-Mu'minin, stop. He said, why? He said, ask him, what lady did he choose for me to be my mother? What he taught me of Islam, Quran or the Sunnah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then he asked him, he said to him, what did you teach your son? He said, of course nothing. He didn't say anything to Umar radiallahu anhu. As a matter of fact, the son said, he didn't teach me anything. Then Umar radiallahu anhu arda, قطعت ابنك قبل أن يقطعك. You're the one who served the relationship between you and your son before he does that. You cannot imagine someone coming to collect the harvest if you didn't do any plantation. If you see at the time of plantation people are coming to take their harvest, you also take what you plant. If you do not take care of it, excuse me, nothing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you if you do your effort. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make it successful if the intention is good. If you work with that boy from the early stages, even if that boy at some time will be deviated here and there, they will come back to what you taught them. But from the first and the beginning, it is very dangerous. Nowadays, a professor visiting Sydney from the States, he's visiting Sydney to teach or to tell that 9 months baby could actually start learning to read. Could start learning to read. Before that in Islam, even before even the actual marriage, and even when the baby is inside, the food that you eat should be halal, etc., etc. It should be halal all the way. But these things are taught by Islam that. And then it is very, very dangerous to make your child, especially at this time and age and places, to make them open for everything. You are their protector, their guardian. That's why Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in a hadith, كلكم راع وكلكم مسؤول عن رعيته. Each one of you is a leader in their own family, and Allah will ask you about that. And then Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, how can you meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala if you lose your own family? Now when you do your best, you educate them, one of the most important things is to be a good example. To have that sense that you want to educate them. يا أيها الذين آمنوا قوا أنفسكم وأهليكم نارا وقودها الناس والحجارة. Allah is saying to us, all people, and and believers. Protect yourselves, that's understandable. And we can protect ourselves, myself. But how about my family and your family? In other words, you could be the cause of taking them to hellfire or protecting them from it. And this is our ultimate goal as Muslims. Now, Asma radiallahu anha wa ardaha was given this responsibility of taking care of catering for Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Do you think that just comes like that? Just like Asma was somewhere and then Abu Bakr said, yeah, start like this. It's just like when you ask your kids, when your guests are coming, your kid is not used to, even if he's 10, 15 years, is not used to respect the guests and give them food or give them drink or give them anything. Say to them, come and give us some drink. Wallah, I have been to some of the brothers' places. Sometimes I get embarrassed and shy to what the kids, they say to their fathers and parents. They ask them, bring water. Say, no, I'm busy. And he watches TV. This is, of course I get embarrassed. It's very normal because you can't test the person if you didn't do the good thing. It's just like we got a next door mechanic. Can he test the machine before making sure that every particle inside it is there? Of course he wouldn't do that. If everything is falling apart, you can't just go and turn it on. No, you have to make sure that everything. That's why you make sure that everything from the beginning, when you have the choice and when you are capable of doing that, when they proceed to be 10 years old, your responsibility decreases because now they will be asked by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and their responsibility increases. But when they are 1 hour, your responsibility is there. Now, Asma radiallahu anha was taking catering for Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. Every night, Asma radiallahu anha wa ardaha will come and give Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and her father Abu Bakr food. One day, she wanted to carry it, but she couldn't. She needed to tie it. What did she do? She, in front of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, she was having almost like a belt around her waist. She took it and teared it twice, so it becomes 2, and wrapped it, radiallahu anha wa ardaha. When she did that, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you 2 of those similar to them in paradise. 2 of those nitaqain in paradise. From that point, she was called that al-nitaqain. Now, this lady radiallahu anha wa ardaha, after doing her mission during the hijrah, then Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam arrived in Medina. This lady radiallahu anha wa ardaha is to take her family also to Medina, of course with her husband Az-Zubayr radiallahu anhu wa ardaha. Now they went all the way to Medina. When they arrived in Medina, she was pregnant when she was catering for Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu wa ardaha. So she's, by this time, she will be delivering the baby. When she arrived in Medina, the rumor started to be that all the Muslims, now 4 months or 3 months, there is a spell from the Jews that the Muslims can't have any child. Now, when she came and she gave birth of this son, the son of Az-Zubayr, the son was taken to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The first to hear was the sound of adhan by Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu wa arda, and the first saliva to touch him was the saliva of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he was named by Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam Abdullah, the slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now this lady brought the glad tidings for the Muslims. She was catering for Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam came there in Medina, and she also brought for them the news that we're not under the spell from the Jews, from the tribes of the Jews in Medina, from the tribes of the Jews in Medina. We're not from that. So now everyone now believes that Muslims could have baby boys. Now this lady was also very tough, radiallahu anha. And after all, you could imagine that a lady who would be in front of Abu Jahl and not saying anything to Abu Jahl, and Abu Jahl was capable of hating her and beating her and slapping her in the face. She didn't say anything. She was also capable of carrying to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam the food. This is very, very enormous job to do for a lady of 7 months pregnancy. Now this lady, her mother did not embrace Islam. Now what did she do? She was afraid that it could be not allowed to even mingle with them. She decided to stop any relationship with her family, those who are not Muslims. And she said her own mother brought her many, many gifts, but she did not accept them. And then she said, no, I'll stay till Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam tells me what to. This is true belief, by the way. It's just like you don't do anything if you don't know anything about it till you have the proof that it is allowed or not. And for us to know about this lady, this is expected. This is very expected from a lady who's been brought up by Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu arda from the early stages of life, and then to be a Muslim as well. Now then Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, no. When she said to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, she's my mother and she tries to be nice to me, should I do the same thing? Then Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, yes, do the same thing. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed, لا ينهاكم الله عن الذين لم يقاتلكم في الدين. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not prevent you from those who did not fight you in religion and did not drive you away from your houses, to be nice and good to them. She became very nice and good to her own mother, who wasn't a Muslim. And some of the historians say she did become, others say she didn't become. Now this lady also radiallahu anha wa ardaha, her son Abdullah became the Khalifa for about 9 years, as we talked about him. She was helping her son radiallahu anha wa ardaha, not because she wanted him to be Khalifa, but because she found out that this son could be maybe the best man to rule the Muslims. Now she also told her son Abdullah about the hadith that Aisha also narrated at the Kaaba, that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said when he conquered Mecca, that if your family, to Aisha radiallahu anha, if your family are not newly just Muslims, I'll demolish the Kaaba and rebuild it again, and have it with 2 doors, of course including now the semicircle which is known as Hijr Ismail. So Az-Zubayr radiallahu anhu was encouraged by his mother to do it, and he rebuilt the Kaaba. He rebuilt the Kaaba under the instructions or under the blessings of his own mother, Asma radiallahu anha. Now in the spending of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, she spends a lot. She spends everything. As a matter of fact, Ibn Zubayr said about his own mother, that he said that I haven't seen any ladies like my auntie Aisha and my mother. They just spent anything in their hands for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's sake. And he said she doesn't even collect anything. She just spends for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's sake. She doesn't even keep anything for tomorrow. She just spends for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's sake. After all, her father is whom? Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu arda. So that's not very strange for a lady who's been educated by Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu arda. Mus'ab bin Sa'd, he said that Umar radiallahu anhu arda gave the muhajirat, those who came from the ladies from Mecca, from different parts to Medina. Umar radiallahu anhu arda gave them some money. So every year, every month, we'll give them some money radiallahu anhu arda. And amongst them is Asma radiallahu anhu arda. When she's given the money, she just spends them radiallahu anhu arda. The knowledge of this lady is so authentic radiallahu anhu arda. And she was also known as one of the interpreters of dreams. Asma radiallahu anha arda. Her son took that knowledge from her radiallahu anha arda. And of course she narrated many hadith from Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as we said. Now her role in where was this lady when her son got killed by Al-Hajjaj? Now there are many stories that we mentioned when we were talking about Az-Zubayr radiallahu anhu, but we'll mention the part which is related to this lady. Now, before the killing of Abdullah ibn Zubayr, this lady is now almost 100 years old. And the historians say there's no teeth of hers fell down. Full teeth. That was 73 Hijri. And she's almost 100 years of age, blind. Now, this lady radiallahu anha, when her son came to her, and then he said she was a little bit sick. And then he said to her, how do you find yourself? She said, I'm a little bit sick. And then he said to her, jokingly, he said to her, death is actually a good cure. And she said, do you really love that I die? This is of course a conversation between a mother and her own child. And when you have this conversation, you could know the level of relationship between both of them. No one would say this to their mothers if there's no good relationship between them. They don't joke with each other, etc., etc. But if you joke with them in a way that makes them angry, no. You joke with them that makes them really alive. It just make them respond to you, make them tease you, and you tease them, but in a very nice, good way. Not in a very severe, mean way, no. Az-Zubayr radiallahu anhu arda, she said, when she said to him, do you really love that? Do you want me to die? He said, no, please don't do that. And she laughed radiallahu anhu arda. And then she said, Wallahi, she said, I don't like to die till I see you, or till I see that you are victorious and rolling, or I see you killed. So when you are rolling, that's what I want. And when you are killed, that's what I also want, for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's sake. And then she said to him, if they give you any plan which is sacrificing your honor and sacrificing your position and sacrificing what you fight for, don't accept it. She was encouraging her son to be brave, because he wasn't fighting to be a leader, by the way. He wasn't fighting to be a leader, and she wasn't encouraging him to just fight for leadership. But she knows radiallahu anha that this man is the best of men at that time. Radiallahu anha. Now, and then she said to him, don't accept any plan that they give you, any negotiation, any compromise they give you, because you fear death. And then he said to her, I'm afraid when they kill me, they will crucify me. Then she said, no, don't worry. If the sheep is slaughtered, she doesn't care. It doesn't care whether they peel the skin or they cut it in pieces. It doesn't care. She was giving her son a lesson that if you do it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it should be for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, Az-Zubayr was killed, radiallahu anhu. When he got killed, the news came to Asma radiallahu anha. Now who killed him is the troop of Al-Hajjaj. Al-Hajjaj came to Asma. She was the only Sahabiya from the Muhajirat who was alive at that point of time, at 73. A great Sahabiya and very tough, radiallahu anha. He came to her and said to her, Ya Ummah, my mother, Amir al-Mu'mineen, recommended me to be very good and very nice to you. Do you need anything? Then she said, I'm not your mother. And by the way, this is a very decent and respectable way when you say to someone who's old, mother, even if she's not your mother. Or any respectable way. Mom, do you need anything? Mother, do you need anything? Father, ya akh, brother, or any of these sorts of things which is a sign of respect. Although Al-Hajjaj was a very tolerant person, but he knew Asma radiallahu anha. Now when he said that, she said, I don't need anything from you. And I'm not your mom. I am the mother of the one who's been hanged and crucified there. And then she said, I'll tell you something what Muhammad said. Muhammad said, from Thaqif, there will be a kadhab, a liar, and a leader, Mubayyir, a leader from the Munafiqeen. The liar, we know him, Al-Mukhtar al-Thaqafi. She meant that person. But the leader of the Munafiqeen is you. And she was pointing to the Hajjaj. Hajjaj is very tough. He just killed many people. And he wouldn't care to kill this lady, but he was afraid to do anything to her. And then he said, do you mean that she said, yes, of course, I mean that. She said to him, do you mean that? He said, do you mean that I'm the leader of the Munafiqeen? She said, yes, I believe that you are what Muhammad referred to. Now, after a few days, this lady radiallahu anha ardaha died. But before her death, she had this hope that she wanted to bury her own son radiallahu anha ardaha, and also to take care of his janazah. After a few days, the janazah of Zubair came. She took care of her radiallahu anha ardaha. She buried him radiallahu anhu ardaha. Of course, many of the Muslims also led prayer on him radiallahu anhu ardaha, prayed on him. After that, she radiallahu anha ardaha died at the age of 100. This lady also had many children. One of the parts that happened during the course of her life is that she was divorced, or she is divorced by Zubayr, her husband. The story of the divorce is very, very strange, by the way. Zubayr one day was talking to his own wife, Asma, and he said something. Abdullah, his son, was outside, and then Abdullah wanted to come in, and he said to his son, Zubayr said to his son, don't come. If you come, your mother is divorced. Then he came. And she was divorced, radiallahu anha. Anyway, the story behind this, she was divorced, radiallahu anha, although she was with Zubayr before the divorce, of course, in the Battle of Al-Yarmouk at the 15th year. Now, if anything, a divorce happened between two persons, it doesn't mean any one of them is bad. This needs to be rectified and changed in our mind. Because if we hear about a divorce, the first thing that comes to our heads is one of them is bad. And usually the poor lady. Asma, a great lady radiallahu anha wa ardaha, Az-Zubayr, a great man radiallahu anhu wa ardaha, and they got divorced. They divorced from each other. The same thing with Zayd ibn Haritha and Zaynab bint Jahsh. No one could say anything about them. Wallahi, I know examples from us. My auntie used to be the wife of someone called Abdullah. And then they got divorced. And she remarried again. She died long time ago. May Allah bless her. And then the relationship between her ex-husband, still, he used to come and visit her. Of course, when her children are there, it's just like no one said anything wrong about this man or anything wrong about her. It started to change, especially those days. Ill feelings and ill thoughts about maybe that lady was going that way or this way. And usually the first to be blamed is the lady. We have to stop this. That is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is making it a very, very severe punishment for anyone who attributes or slander or say anything about a lady, especially a lady, in her honor. Either prove it or be punished. Now, this lady radiallahu anha wa ardaha had many children radiallahu anha wa ardaha from Zubair, of course. And Abdullah was one of them. Urwa, very well-known man. And also Al-Mundhir, Asim, Al-Muhajir, Khadija Al-Kubra, Al-Hasan, and Aisha. These are children of this great lady radiallahu anha. This great lady radiallahu anha wa ardaha was the first, or number 18 in Islam. She was also the first of the ones to hear about the hijrah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. She was given the responsibility of catering for Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam during the 3-day stay in the cave of Thawr. She was also the first one to give birth for a baby born in Islam, in Medina. She was also a lady who had many, many descriptions, radiallahu anha wa ardaha. She was of the last muhajirat, or she was the last person of the muhajirat to die in Mecca. She died in Mecca at 73 hijrah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless her, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make her of those who are accepted and blessed. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us learn from the stories of these great companions of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.